¿Él era el DJ o algo?
No, estaba.
Oh my gosh, looks so good.
No, pero se me quemaron un chin de H.
No, está bien. It's good like that. Here we go. She even found an avocado that's big.
Si ustedes la lavan, yo me la bebo. Decentemente.
Igual que yo.
Respeta la. Dime.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mills and I make videos mostly about expat life in the Dominican Republic, but other things thrown in here and there. So if you are interested in that, or if you know someone who is, I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, comment. Anything is super helpful for me. The video is about the differences in dating American versus Dominican men. We went to a Dominican couple's house last night for dinner, so we actually ended up staying there until like 11 or later. So I didn't have time to film after I got home last night. It was so good last night though, like the Dominican food was amazing and Chris was super happy to get his like authentic Dominican rice and all of that good stuff. So this is my own experience and I'm going to add in comments that I asked on my Instagram from men and women that replied. So it's my experience and their experience, and obviously this doesn't mean this applies to every American man or every Dominican man, and I'm not trying to like stereotype or anything. I just thought it would be a fun video, a little lighthearted. I don't mean to offend anyone. Yeah, if you have a different experience, feel free to comment below. I would love to see what you think are the main differences between dating an American man versus a Dominican man, because like I said, every person's different. So one thing that I think sticks out in my own experience with American versus Dominican men are Dominican men are more likely to like settle down more quickly. So if you're talking to a Dominican man, it wouldn't be weird to like become their girlfriend sooner than an American man. I think American men, it's more likely for them or more common for them to do that whole like hanging out, hooking up, not official thing for a longer amount of time, or there's a longer build up before you become official. That being said, I think that traditionally a lot of Dominican men, I know this is a huge stereotype and not my experience at all. I know I said it was my experience, but from my observation, I think that American men, once they are in a relationship, I think they take it more seriously a lot of the times. So I think cheating, again, this is like super hard because I don't have any experience with cheating on either side. So I think it's less likely in a relationship with an American man than a Dominican man if you're with a certain type of man. So of course there's a lot of American men that cheat and Dominican men that don't. But stereotypically, I think that American men, when they do take this step for a relationship, and I'm talking about like our age, not high school and stuff, they are serious about it. Another difference that I have definitely noticed is that Dominican men are more family oriented. So I think Dominican people in general, I think that they're closer with their families. They live at home for longer, which is very common. They really won't move out until they are in a serious relationship, they get a job farther away, or they are married. And it's totally normal to meet like a 30-year-old man that still lives at home. Now, on the American side, pretty much all of the American men that I talked to when I was, you know, after college, everyone had moved out. It was pretty rare to like meet a guy that lives at home still. I don't think like one is better than the other. I think it definitely is more common to see the Dominican men be more family oriented, see their families more, go, if they don't live at home, they want to go home for lunch or visiting their family, visiting their mom. I think that they're more, a lot of the time they're more likely to remain close by. Even if they move out of the house, they want to stay like geographically close. Also, I think that Dominican men are babied more than American men, and this definitely depends on your culture in your family in America. Like I for sure have dated Italian guys that are super babied. It all depends. My dad is Italian. He was very babied by his mom. So it's not just Dominican men, but in this comparison, the average Dominican male, I think, is a lot more babied than the average American man that I have dated. They are just babies, especially if they're like the youngest son or the only son. I think that, you know, they get a little bit spoiled. To me, that's just that's just normal. Chris is definitely a mama's boy, but I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think like the way that guys treat their mom is very like telling. So yeah, it's just funny, you know. Dominican men and their moms have a very close bond. There goes the sprinklers as usual. So I'm sorry if you can hear them. I know you can. Every time I film outside in my backyard, this happens, so I am not surprised. I think another big difference between like American and Dominican men are more affectionate than American men. From my experience and the relationships that I've observed, I think that Dominican men are less reserved in public and less kind of shy with PDA. Now, I don't mean like full on like making out in public. I mean, people do, but even just like holding hands or putting their arm around a girl or their arm around their waist or anything, like playing with their hair. Like, people always say like, oh, Chris is always like touching you somehow. We both, you know, we just like, I guess that's one of our love languages, but everyone's like, he's always playing with your hair and stuff. It's just, I think, a cultural thing. They're just closer. You'll even see like Dominican men be like that with their friends that are girls or their sisters or their moms, not in like a weird way, but they just sit closer and they're more like touchy. I don't know, not in a weird way. I know someone's gonna be like, that's gross, you know what I mean. Whereas in my experience with American men, I think that they're more reserved with PDA and affection. Even in the language, I think Dominican men are more, they're like smoother. They say more romantic things than American guys. American guys will just be like, babe. Dominican men are like, mi amor, mi tesoro, mi corazón, mi vida, mi luz. I'm like, damn. And a lot of it I know is like, if you're not serious with a guy, it's like smooth talking. But even in serious relationships, I see the difference in PDA and expressing themselves romantically. So I would say Dominican men are more romantic in my observations. Another thing that I see a big difference between American men and Dominican men, I think that Dominican men and women, the relationships are more likely to be evenly matched, if that makes sense. So whereas I've talked to American guys who went to get their masters, didn't go to college, went to college, finished high school, went to PhD, you know what I mean? Like, it's not evenly matched all the time here. Based on education or socioeconomic class. I think whereas what I see in Dominican relationships is the socioeconomic classes are more likely to stay together and education levels as well. So I think it's more common for, if you graduated from college in the DR, you're more likely to be with a woman or a man who did. Whereas if you didn't, you might be more likely to be with someone who just finished high school. More kind of like evenly matched in the same kind of social circle, if that makes sense. Of course, there's people that don't fall into that role. I've seen doctors be married to people who didn't finish high school, for example, in the DR. Just like in America, I just think it's more common to stay within those classes. And a lot of the times people will say that American men are harder working. I think as a culture, a lot of American men might put in more hours based on their job or their career and our like work culture. But the Dominican men that I know, and I mean Chris, it's so hardworking, and I've seen him work like straight through the night, all night, when he has a lot of like projects with his clients, and he has a really strong work ethic. So I don't, from my experience, I haven't seen like the American men that I've talked to have been way harder working than any Dominican men. I also have more experience with American men, obviously. But living in the DR, I've observed a ton of relationships and have a lot of Dominican friends that I'm kind of like pulling their experiences from as well to make it a little bit more even. So I also asked on my Instagram page, what is the biggest difference that you see between American men dating an American man versus a Dominican man? Here we go with this side of the sprinklers. And I got a bunch of great responses. I'll read some of them to you guys. This person said, Dominican men seem to be more traditional than American men. More chivalry and romance. I actually agree with that. Like I already said, I think that Dominican men are more romantic. But on the other side, I think that Dominican men are more into traditional gender roles than the American men I've dated, who they will cook and have a girlfriend or wife that doesn't ever cook, or they're fine with cleaning. I've met a lot who like those traditional gender roles, but from my experience, Dominican men are more set into those like men and women type roles. Just came here to say that this should be 10 videos. Where do I start? Yeah, seriously, there's so much you can say. This person said American men have more commitment issues, but it's true Dominican men are babied. So yeah, I think I touched on that in the beginning. Dominican men are more babied. And American men don't want to settle down and be official for a long time, if ever, because they're just kind of like playing the field. Yeah, this person said they're more like cariñoso, like American man will be like, babe, my girl, Dominican. She said, mi amor, mi cielo, mi reina, amor de mi vida, mi tesoro. Yeah, like, you've all heard it. Dominicans, big gentlemen, warm, and not afraid of showing emotions. I would agree with that mostly. I think Dominican men I've talked to are more open than American men, emotionally more open, I think. Dominican men are more sensual, definitely agree. Dominican men are more cariñoso, more passionate in bed. Plead the fifth. Dominican men are generally much more attractive. I don't really have like a type, kind of, but I agree. I think that Dominican men are really attractive. But of course there's a lot of American men that are really attractive too. Dominican men are more family oriented and willing to commit to a serious relationship. Yes. Dominican men are hardworking but also very lazy. Anyway, that's my boyfriend. Yeah, I can see that. Most of the Dominican men are cheaters, but he is educated and from Santiago, so you're good. Thanks. I wouldn't say most Dominican men are cheaters, but a lot of them are. Just like a lot of American men are, but I already talked about that. Mine's much more respect of his family, definitely. Like, they don't, at least in my experience, don't talk badly about their family. They're really close with their family. They'll stick up for their family. If they need something, they're there for them. So I really like that. Dominican men are more clingy. I don't know about that one. Maybe? What do you guys think? I don't really know. Dominican men are more jealous, but like cute jealousy and wanting to talk, text, call all day long. Yeah, when Chris and I first started dating and we lived apart, and I was in Jarabacoa and he was in Santiago, we talked all day. And, but I love that, so I'm clingy. Never dated an American man, but I believe Dominican men are sweeter and more affectionate. I agree. From my experience, Dominican men are not great about talking about their problems. Machismo. Yeah, see, that's, in my experience, the Dominican men that I have talked to or know are more open. But that just might be the type of person that I'm attracted to. And Chris is more open, kind of. And his friends are. So I can see both sides, but the macho, I definitely see them trying to be strong. And for me, macho reverts kind of back to that gender roles and their role type of thing. Macho. I find Dominican men very possessive and jealous. I think that Dominican men are more jealous. The American man that I've dated, they understand that I have guy friends. There were a couple that didn't understand that, but I've always had a lot of guy friends. And there's never really like a big problem with that. Whereas Dominican men, I think overall are more like territorial, where it's like, you know, I can talk to who I want, but you can't go around like talking to guys or hanging out alone with another guy. I see that. Dominican men are happy with less and appreciate more. The U.S. men are more spoiled, in my opinion. I could see that. things will move pretty quickly as far as steps taken in a relationship. Yes. In general, Hispanic boys are much more babied by their moms, like so babied. Dominican men from DR are way more affectionate. Guys from New York hide their emotions. I agree, being from New York, but that might just be like a New York thing versus other states. It's also very hard to compare like a huge country like the United States to a small country like the DR, and so many cultures within the US, but I'm really trying to generalize here and make it about like my observation and my own experiences. So in my experience, definitely they are more emotional than New York men. So those are the main ones that I saw. There's some repeats in there and stuff, but I think I got all of them a couple times. I would love to hear what you guys think are the biggest differences between dating an American man versus a Dominican man. Maybe I can do like a collab with a Dominican man. I mean, I'm married to a Dominican man. But you know, someone else maybe that has more experience with like dating an American and dating a Dominican. But I think there's a lot of videos about kind of dating a Dominican woman, but I don't see as many about dating Dominican men. So hopefully this was interesting to you. And like I said a million times already, it's just a very broad generalization. Like every man is different, US, Dominican, so your experience will be different. Comment below also any ideas that you have for future videos. Finally, the sprinklers are all so peaceful now. I love hearing your ideas for videos and then getting to do them. If you're a man dating a Dominican woman or American woman and you have experience on the other side, I would love to hear your thoughts below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, as always, I love the support, and if you can hit subscribe, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. And if I don't put up another video before Christmas, I hope you guys have an amazing Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate and are able to spend time with family and friends. Even if you live in the DR and are an expat, you know, get connected with another group. Make some plans for the holidays because I don't want anyone to be alone during that time. All right, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys soon.